We talk about this a lot, about the two-door Wrangler, and it seems that a lot of our audience here is a huge fan of the two-door Wrangler as a base platform to even start a brand new build like this, or just pick one up used and kind of create your own Jeep vehicle out of it. Here are some reasons you should consider buying a two-door Wrangler in the year 2023. If you're looking to order a brand new Jeep Wrangler and get it for the best deal possible, shipped right to your door, and also talk to Jeep experts, we're officially excited to announce that we've got our Dirt Road CRED dealership affiliate program up and running, and we are partnered with Dan Cummins Jeep. All you have to do is go onto our website, type in your information, and it'll directly get connected to their Jeep experts where they can get you a great deal in a very fast shipping time frame. So reach out to them so you can get a brand new Jeep with a brand new grille like this one behind me. Now, the first thing that I wanted to talk about since the beginning of this video and kind of the beginning of the Jeep Wrangler or Jeep inception, the two-door was the original Wrangler. And not even only that, it was the original Wrangler, but it was also the original Jeep. Now, I want to call it the Willys or the Willis. You guys kind of argue back and forth which one is the proper terminology to call it. However, we're going to put a pin maybe in the community tab so we can talk about that and figure out what you guys think. But probably the coolest thing about picking up a two-door Wrangler is the fact that they were built for so many years. Now, I say Wrangler, that the start of it was in 1987 with the first actual Wrangler vehicle. However, before that, all the other Jeep vehicles were two doors. So you had your CJs, you had your basically everything, your Willis or Willys MBs. You had all sorts of CJs after the original military Jeep. You can literally go through the years CJ5, CJ7, CJ8, CJ6. I can go through all sorts of them, but you have so many more variations of years that you can choose from. That's probably one of the biggest reasons I would say to consider buying a two-door, just because you really can pick and choose exactly what you want to do. Do you want to do more of a classic vehicle frame off restoration with a two-door, or do you want to kind of start with something maybe a little bit fresher? Maybe you want to go to a YJ or a TJ or even a two-door JK, or heck, maybe even a brand new 2024 JL like we've got behind us. They've been producing these two-doors for the past 80 plus years, so there is a ton on the market. I would say the second reason to consider picking up a two-door Wrangler just like the one we have behind us is that automatically the price point is lower. Even if you're building out a brand new 2024 Wrangler, the two-door is cheaper. Now, it makes sense. There's less frame material, less doors, less interior, less wiring. It's just a little bit less. Two doors on there compared to four, and basically you just extend everything longer when you create the four-door vehicle. But I would say that too, in the used market, now there's a brief caveat where they're kind of similar prices, but in the used market, the two doors are generally cheaper. When you're considering buying the two doors I hate to say this because Ryan's behind the camera, the two doors don't necessarily hold their resale value as high as the four door. And that's due to a couple different reasons. Probably the biggest reason is that they produce a heck of a lot more four doors, and unfortunately they are more popular. I hate to say it, as much as you guys love the two door, the brand new ones are more popular to buy the four door model of it. But what that means for you is if you're searching for a two door, whether it's new or used, you're gonna save a good amount of money because the price points are a heck of a lot cheaper. And since there was more produced back from 87 all the way to 07, all those were just two doors. There's a lot more out there for you to find and some good deals to be had. A third reason is drivability, and now that kind of stands for on-road drivability as well as off-road drivability. I remember back in my two-door days and even being in Ryan's Jeep, just the overall versatility and on-road, off-road experience with these vehicles. It is night and day difference between the four-door and the two-door. The first is daily driving. I mean, when you guys consider this, it is a shorter wheelbase, which means a tighter turning radius. These things can turn on a dime, and dare I say a lot more than the four doors. I'm sure there are some exact specs that we could look up, but they really do turn on a dime and give you a lot better steering input when you're kind of whipping around in some tight areas. Now that leads to a lot of benefits. These are a lot less long, or a lot shorter, as they say in layman's terms. When you're off-roading, shorter can sometimes be better. You're kind of controlling your entire vehicle, and in a two-door, I felt a little bit more connected with the vehicle, knowing exactly where my taillights and my front corners were. I could easily negotiate going around tight trails and kind of know that as soon as it gets past my body, I've only got a few feet. On the four-door, you've got about 5 more feet to go, and you've really got to consider that when you're going along trails. The nice thing too for off-road versatility is you have a lot better of a breakover angle on this, meaning you will not get hung up on things that you would on the four-door. As soon as you cross that front tire on the obstacles, you're just about to the rear tire. On the four-door vehicles, you got about another 1.5 to 2 feet left to go, and that really can make a difference between getting on and off a trail a lot easier. The third thing I would say with that and versatility, or third or fourth, is the power that you're going to produce. This Jeep has the same engine as mine, but it's a few hundred pounds lighter. Produces more power, gets better fuel economy because it's lighter, and overall just feels a little bit more nimble off and on road. I would say the fourth reason you should consider one of these is overall just the lifestyle of a two-door. I gotta tell you guys, the lifestyle of a two-door owner is generally a lot more adventurous than that of a four-door. And I hate to say it because I've owned so many four-door Jeeps, but I've also owned so many two-doors. There's a certain nostalgia of driving around a two-door vehicle anymore, and there's not too many vehicles that even make them. When you start talking crew cabs versus single cabs, not too many even truck manufacturers make the single cabs anymore. Honestly, it kind of throws you back to a lot more of a simpler time. Maybe you're retired, just recently becoming an empty nester, and you're thinking back to the time when you were just living in a small apartment, you and your wife, and you had a little two-door Jeep that used to putt around in town. I know for me personally, it's my YJ with a bikini top all summer, punching it so all the water would fly out when I drove around in the rain. And that lifestyle is something that honestly is so near and dear to my heart, where it makes a two-door like this really more valuable in my eyes. Even a JK, maybe dad had a two-door JK when you were rolling around as a kid. I know my dad had a CJ7 and we would fold down the windshields and drive to football practice, which I absolutely love. The bugs in your teeth, the fresh air, the 3-speed V8, that's something that you're not going to be able to replace with a four-door Jeep. The two doors just naturally feel like the nostalgic part of your lifestyle. And dare I say that it's a little bit easier too to store all the parts, to park these in a garage. And honestly, if you're looking for an older Jeep, it's just a little bit easier to find one of those, fix it up, and keep it in the garage for those nice sunny days, for those inclement weather days where you don't care if the rain gets in the floor, if the water all piles up because you pull your plugs or you already have your drain plugs removed and it just pours right out. The Jeep lifestyle really was based upon the two-door. The four-door is so much more utilitarian for as many people as you can fit, as well as for the storage in the back, for camping, for overlanding. But the two-door, this is where the bread and butter is at for that nostalgia side of it. The last reason is because the two-door Wrangler can be your first and your last Wrangler. Now, I mean a couple different things by that, and I think the whole culmination of this video really leads to what I'm talking about. And the fact that my first Jeep vehicle was a two-door Wrangler. I was in high school. I learned how to work on the vehicle. I learned how to lift it. I learned how to get it stuck in mud holes. I really learned who I was as a person in the side of that Jeep. I met my wife. She was in the back riding around in town of that Jeep. And that's why it holds such kind of a monumental piece for me, is that it was the first vehicle I had. It was the first Jeep that I had. It was the lifestyle that I wanted to live throughout the rest of my life. But as time goes by, you need more space. I have a rear-facing car seat with a little guy in it, and that's going to be a little bit better for it, dare I say it. It's not the best thing for it because that rear door is really narrow but he loves it, and it's becoming part of his lifestyle. When he starts to get bigger, I would have no problem having him in the back of a two-door because it would be a lot more manageable. I would say that four-door right now really fits my lifestyle. The Gladiator fits a lot of people's lifestyles because they need to haul more, but this is the ending point of this one, is that this can also be your last Wrangler. Most of the people that I know that are buying this as a 30, 40, 50, even 60-year-old person, they're retiring, they're utilizing this as something that brings them back and connects them to their youth spirit. And that's what I think the Jeep brand is all about, is something that connects you to where you started. The two-door is your first, and it will probably be my last Jeep that I own. I will have a two-door, probably just like this one, maybe with some square headlights on the front of it, but it's something that connects me back to kind of an easier, a simpler time, and reminds me of where I started. I think in the middle, we're gonna find these Jeeps as utilitarian pieces to help us through our lifestyle, but having a Wrangler throughout is gonna be the best bet. That's why I think the two-door is your first and it's your last Wrangler. On today's viewer rig of the video, we are checking out Jono's two-door JL. Now, while you might first look at this JL and think there's not that much done to it, I think the story is a lot cooler. Now, he said in this that his father always wanted a Corvette and didn't get one until he was dying of cancer. So his dad, as well as his wife, told him not to wait too long for his dream car, that he'd earned it. So him and his wife flew out all the way from West Virginia to Spokane, Washington to buy this two-door from a good friend in Idaho. They drove it back across country, had it for a year, became foster parents, and traded it for a bigger truck. Honestly, I love this story on here, and I'm just so glad that Jono had a chance to really enjoy this Jeep. And I gotta be honest with you, that story really is something that kind of sticks with me. You don't want to wait too long until you actually can enjoy what you want to do. I mean, this is the biggest thing for us. You got to go out there and enjoy it and really have a good time. So Jono, thank you for the story. Thank you for watching, and honestly, thanks so much just for submitting. If you guys want to have a chance of your Jeep being featured, be sure to hit us up through Instagram or send us an email. The biggest thing that I want to say is if you want to buy a two-door, especially a new one, I don't know how long they're going to be producing these vehicles. Now, I've said that a few different times, but this is not the majority of the sales sector for the Wrangler, and I got to say that these are getting slower and slower and less built. It's pretty easy to find a two-door on the lot that's been sitting there for a little bit because more people are looking for that utilitarian. They're looking for the four-door right now. So if you're trying to buy a 2024 two-door, I would say if you're considering it, just do it. Or if you're considering looking at an older one, guys, find a good deal, find one with low mileage and one that you can really modify and make it your best. My biggest tip to that is find one that's stock, or if it's built up to a point where you really like it, then buy it at that point. However, I gotta say, if the two-door's in your heart, just pick one up. You're gonna enjoy it. Your kids will enjoy it. Everyone in your life will enjoy it, including yourself. And if I had a little bit extra time, I would completely build either a YJ or a TJ on the channel. And heck, you never know, that might even come up in the future here. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Now, if you aren't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that fun mumbo jumbo. It doesn't cost you a dime, but it really helps this channel out. And honestly, reply down below in the comments and make sure it's us replying. We had a little bit of an issue the other month with some spam people telling them to go to the telegrams and whatnot. We got that figured out. You'll see it's Dirt Road Cred and it's us down below in the comments. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Till next time though, my name is Matt with Dirt Road Cred, and I want you to get out there and earn yours.